which is also MSI that I'm looking to win. It's going to be a challenge, but I believe in myself and my team that we can do it. It definitely feels great to be one of the few players who only won each title in NA and in LEC. Um, People don't value it as highly as I think it is. It is a very, very big achievement in my opinion, and I'm looking to have many more, which is also MSI that I'm looking to win. It's going to be a challenge, but I believe in myself and my team that we can do it. Um, Obviously, I mentioned before in a couple other interviews that I think we are very, very, very comfortable in low record run because we had three people who managed to go through low record runs and win. One time it was an NA for me, and the other time was here, right? And I think Caps and Jankos both had that as well. And I think most of the time I think everybody showed up really when it needed. And I think when someone else played worse in one game, the other guy played even better. I feel like in those games, and we always had each other's backs, and we would just come out stronger every game after the Fnatic series. Why Ornn? I mean Ornn, because mainly actually it was because of Targamas, because he was like, "Oh, Ornn is actually broken, we should play it," and I was like, "Nah, it's not broken." And then at some point I started playing it and I started smurfing with it really hard, and I did play it in solo queue a bit. And in solo queue it didn't go so well, even though I was also always solo balling the enemies, right? Just like I did against Rogue. Uh, but in scrims it was always going really well, and my team were actually really good at playing around on, and it just clicked, like from one day to the other, it just clicked, and we just started playing it. For me as a G2 player was obviously a huge success because we got first, which was my ambition anyway. Like I joined G2 to be the best, and we are the best in EU so far. And yeah, I mean, I think the reason why I think being at G2 is like so amazing is because I think there's no limit in what you can achieve, because they did win MSI before, they were in finals before, and I think that is something that I want to achieve as well with my new teammates. So it obviously is a lot of pressure, but I think I'm a guy who can handle that pressure very well, and I think I even need that kind of pressure to play well. I mean, one thing is that we just started practicing really early. We started to get to know each other very, very early. Like even before the split started, like 2 months before, we started boot camping in Berlin, and everybody was meeting each other. So we got to know each other more, and I think everybody in our team is like really, really open-minded and open to criticism, where it just gets easier to talk to people. It's like one day you can go to each other's rooms and say, hey, this is what I think, what do you think about this and that, and then sometimes it goes to like an hour talk that we have with each other, and it's really, really valuable talks because you learn so much about the other person and what he thinks, and it's just great to be able to play with those guys that share the same ambition and say also are dropping their ego when they need to. I mean, it's everybody tries to do that. I think. I mean, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's our manager Ornn. But it's everyone's job to be able to reset after a game, right? And I think everybody does their best to do so. And sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's easier. But at the end, we always come on top, and just reset and start a new week, learn from those games, just like we did against Fnatic, for example, when we lost the first time against them. So. I mean, I think Jankos is louder than us. Maybe Jankos is actually louder on stage. Jankos is not so loud in scrims sometimes. I agree that Flag and me are kind of loud. We joke around a lot, but I feel like everybody jokes around in our team, which is like also something very nice, right? Um, what I like the most though is that we can be serious when we need to be serious, but usually we joke around, you know. But when we need to be serious, we all know, like, okay, now we need to be serious, you know. I mean, it was mainly my idea. I think after a game, I was just like the first one was the Su, right? Which we did with Flake and Caps only. I think that was in the beginning. It was only me, us three, because nobody else was really like down. You know, it was. I thought it was always funny, you know, and me having those or like us having those celebrations after the game wants you to have those celebrations after the game, so you try as hard to win those games as well, right? Because there's more fun after you win, and it's less fun for the enemy because they see you celebrating, right? Which is like really really nice. I think it's a nice thing, and I think more teams should probably pick that up. Obviously, it always takes something from yourself that you have to overcome. You know, some people think it's cringe, some people don't want to do it because it's like, oh, what if I look bad, right? But once you overcome that fear, I guess you can just be yourself, and then it's like even nicer. And I think a lot of the people in our team actually overcome that, and then we just started doing some dumb stuff, you know, and it's just nice to see, you know. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's actually really funny, you know. And I think a lot of people liked it, and it was like a nice little thing we had. I mean, for us, I mean, for me especially, I think I'm a player who can play most stuff if I'm confident enough in playing them and I have practiced them. Um, and for example, the Corki top lane that I played, it was like a they banned out my champions, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna pick Corki, guys, you know. And then it actually it actually ended up well, even though the early game was like hard, and like champions like the Tango Kali, that was like really really last minute. That was like the day before. I was like, okay, Tango Kali is a thing. I'm gonna play it in solo queue, and I played 6 games I think of Kali, and I won 6 games, and I was like really feeling strongly about it. And then I told to my coach, and my coach even told me, hey, I think we should play it. I'm like, I'm down. And I think we first picked it, and then I won me 9 the game, which is a nice feeling, you know, being able to do that. And I think it's not only me who can do that on the team. I think everybody is capable of doing so. That is why I think our team is so hard to play against and draft against, which is why I'm also like happy to be on this team, right? I mean, it always depends on what is good in the draft, but usually you want to pick stuff that is just simply the best, right? Like show of fun and this and that is always nice to be having. Like you would rather play 5 games of Yasuo than 5 games of Malphite, for example, right? But it just depends that you have the balance of just it being good. You know, as long as something is good, you can pick it whenever you want, because in the end, practice is what matters the most, right? And I think we sometimes went too much on that, having a little bit too much fun, you know. And I think Dylan is very good at stopping us, you know, and having us actually practice well, which is obviously part of his job, right? But he's doing a very good job, I think. So yeah, glad to have Dylan as well. I think the problem was mainly they were trying too much stuff. Like every week they were just picking a new comp, trying to change up stuff too much, and I think they were like mostly panicking, and I think they couldn't find their right footing. Like in the beginning of the split, they were actually having a really good head start of any other team. I think they 3-0'd. I think just based on that, they could have already made it to playoffs. But again, they panicked. I think the rookies didn't show up when they needed to sometimes, and just lost. Because I do think they lost strong players, and the rookies couldn't always show up. Even though I think Unforgiven was doing fine on his champs. But yeah, for next split we will see. Maybe they will do some changes. Maybe they won't. But I think it was a lot of drafting issues, a lot of preparation issues as well. And I did talk to Armut. He said he also didn't play too well in his split. That he said that he could have carried way more games than he did. So maybe they will do better next split. I mean, not really. There's not really like I would like to play against T1 top laner, right? Because seems to be a very good player. But other than that, I would just like to see either TL or 100Ts make it as like players, because I have some friends there. That would be nice, I guess. I guess playing against Turkey will be nice if they are in the tournament still in the group phase, I guess. So we're gonna see about that. Other than that, I don't really have any specific player I would like to play against. The benefit is definitely that you have to play against other regions and see how they play, how they scrim, how they react to things, right? The disadvantage is obviously that you have to spend more time playing, practicing, where other teams can like relax and come back stronger for like the next split, right? Which is the big topic of like the teams usually that are in finals, because they go home very late and then they have their league starting very very early, which they don't have really a lot of time to rest. Like we had it with, I think with G2 had it, I think Mad Lions had it as well. So I'm not really sure if it's like that extreme, because I never experienced it myself, right? But we're gonna see. I guess if we are going to win the finals, then I can tell you more about how that feels. But yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously more advantages than disadvantages.